Last year, it was USC's spot in the national title game taken away by UCLA. That not on the line this time around, but a trip to the Rose Bowl for both teams still there for the taking. Hey, how are you, folks? Jason Horowitz, glad to be with you on the Toyota College Football Preview. 9-2 USC with a win takes its sixth straight Pac-10 title and earns a spot in the Rose Bowl. UCLA 6-5 after last week's shutout of Oregon. And actually, despite the overall record, still a shot at the Rose Bowl, a win at the Coliseum against USC, coupled with an Arizona State loss against Arizona, and that's how they get there. And with more on the Battle of Los Angeles, we bring in Spencer Tillman. And, Spence, Pete Carroll's squad at USC, 26-1 in November and December regular season games. That one loss, of course, being last year's 13-9 defeat at the Rose Bowl to UCLA. Don't you think that's just sticking out in the players' minds just a little bit right now?
You bet it does. I mean, the two coaches in the Pac-10 that really stick out in my mind that really have a professional approach, they start to peak in the month of November and into December. Mike Stoops is Arizona is the other guy. And then I'll tell you, Pete Carroll is an outstanding coach, mainly because he's weathered injuries throughout the course of the year, both on the defensive side of the ball as well as the offensive side of the ball. And so right now, he, like Oklahoma and Missouri, has their teams peaking at the right point. And I'm not so sure they are not the best team in America right now if we play today.
Well, let's get into that a little bit, because there are people across the country, including some columnists on CBSSports.com, that are saying that USC and Ohio State are the two best teams in the nation. I think, based on conversations we've had in the past, that we both disagree on Ohio State, so we'll leave them aside for a sec. But why, in your opinion, especially after the game on Thanksgiving against Arizona State, do you think that maybe it's a fair assessment of USC?
Yeah, I think it's a fair assessment because John David Booty is healthy finally. When you get consistent quarterback play, you're going to be a better ball club. Again, this is one of those great years where we can turn to quarterback play and point on the success of teams like Oregon. Without Dennis Dixon in the mix, they're an average team. Now down to their third quarterback. They're not even average. They're below average. We saw Oklahoma struggle when they lost Sam Bradford against Texas Tech and lost. We could go down the line. Tim Tebow, when he got dinged up with Florida, they were not the same, although he didn't miss very much time. But he was not effective when he was not 100%. This has been an unprecedented year. So when you see quarterbacks all of a sudden get healthy now and they have complementary weapons, they become a dangerous team. Combine that with the success they've had defensively, they're now starting to live up to the advanced billing on that side of the ball. You got another juggernaut on your hand in USC.
Spence, is that resurgence of the USC offense with John David Booty and of the chip on the shoulder of last year's loss, does that give them the edge this game?
You bet it does, because, again, you look at the track that they were on to do something very special as far as the BCS was concerned, and the team that's just 10 minutes away from the campus, they see each other on a day-to-day basis. They knocked them off. And that right there sticks in your craw as a player, as a coach, as a university. You got to sit there and listen to it. It's not like the traditional rivalry where there's distance, there's proximity that separates you. They're right there in the same city, and they've got to hear it every single day. It's tremendous motivation.
Yeah, it certainly is. As for UCLA, you were talking about quarterback play around the nation. When you get down to third-string quarterback, team isn't the same. UCLA was on its third-string quarterback. Then it's fourth. Now they're back to their third. It doesn't look in any way possible that the Bruins offensively can stack up with what has been a good USC defense all year. It just doesn't look that way.
You're right, and they're going to have to rely on the defense. They've got a pretty good run-stop unit, and that's what Carl Durrell and his guys are going to have to rely on, because Ben Olsen has been in and out of the lineup all year long. He's been ineffective. And, again, the point we made about John David Booty and his consistency for USC applies just the opposite for UCLA. They've not had good quarterback play, and as a result, they've been an average ball club at times. They have snuck out a couple of big wins that, again, have them in the hunt for the Pac-10 championship, but they're not the same at quarterback as this USC bunch.
No, they're certainly not. Offense looked pretty awful last week against Oregon, but they did get the shutout victory against the Ducks. Actually, offense on both sides looked awful in that game. Spence, in this game last year, UCLA won it with defense. They'll have to do it again, as you mentioned. 77th time these two teams will meet. Rose Bowl berth at stake for the 36th time. Does USC take it and run and play in Pasadena?
Well, in this unprecedented season that we've had, where we have had 12 times, teams that were not ranked upset teams that were in the top 5, anything is possible. Do I think it's probable in this situation? Absolutely not. You have to consider the rivalry, though, because UCLA has proven that they can upset a very good USC team. This is a very good USC team, but they're not going to win this time. USC goes away winning by at least 3 touchdowns in this one.
Yeah, I agree. That chip on the shoulder down there at Trojan Land is you're going to hear that song all afternoon, and it's going to get very annoying. I agree with you, Spence. We will see it on Saturday afternoon, and we'll talk about it on Saturday night, sir. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, Jason, we'll see you.
Folks, we'll see it all when it kicks off at 4:30 p.m. Eastern from the Coliseum in Los Angeles. And for more on this game or any other here in the last week of the regular season. Stay with CBSSports.com. Watch everything else all over the CBS Audience Network. For Spencer Tillman, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care.